Councilwoman of the 4th District, Mrs. Marion Ivy. Councilwoman of the 5th District, Mrs. Linda Barnes Caldwell. Councilman at Large, Darren Washington, and our Councilman of the 2nd District, Dwayne Halliburton. We are also joined by our park staff, our park superintendent, Mattie Fitzgerald, who will give us some district park updates, who will also talk about Marquette Park and beach management. I see our Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Suggs, is also here, and summer programming and operations, just any updates. I see the leader of our beach patrol is with us also tonight, so we are excited about you all joining, giving updates to us and the public about the current affairs of our parks. Probably what I get more than any other question in the public is what is going on with our parks. So that would be the leading question. What is going on with our parks? Thank you for joining us, Ms. Fitzgerald Williams.
Good afternoon, Council and everyone else. So, Director Mattie Fitzgerald, been over the parks since January of 2025. Since January 2025, I reviewed the parks, Joel Parks, and also changed project managers. I was able to bring in Core Construction, and Core Construction gave us an analysis of our Jewel Parks, how we can improve them, as well as how much the improvements would cost the city. So after the analysis, I sat down with the Parks Board, of course, and the administration, and we decided to go in a different route, whereas we would go before Public Works and bid the work out for our Jewel Parks, where we can start the work and finally complete these Jewel Parks. So the paperwork will be going before Public Works at our next board meeting here at the City of Gary, and the bids will go out once a contractor, of course, is picked. Then we will be able to start work on the Jewel Parks. The parks are not gone unnoticed or unmanned, because we do have scheduled grass cutting twice a week, as well as we have a landscaping contractor who will be visiting each park and beautifying the park around the pavilion, cutting the, as he called it, the floppy trees that's overgrowing over the park's appearance, and just removing any debris that we can with the landscaping. Also, we've teamed up with General Services Department and Public Works, and our maintenance and grounds teams are out throughout the City of Gary, cutting, removing debris as well throughout the other parks that are not considered Jewel Parks. I am very proud to announce that our beach boating will be opening July 1st. We have all of our entryways that have been opened in the Miller area, so that our police and fire can get down to different sectors of the beach as needed for emergencies. So that is my update, and if you have any questions.
Colleagues, any questions? Councilman Halliburton?
So I'm looking at the Park Pavilion rental information. There's Marquette that represents the 1st, Tolliston that represents the 3rd, Roosevelt Park Pavilion that represents the 5th, Glen Bryant that represents the 1st, Hudson Campbell Fitness that represents the 4th. You know where I'm going with this?
Yes, and yes, sir. And I do understand, as you know yourself and I, we did do a walkthrough of Brunswick, and unfortunately, due to the vandalism of Brunswick, we had to put things on the burner, get Brunswick reassessed, and now that we are taking the bids through Public Works, we will be able to retain a contractor that can start going back to Brunswick and make the necessary repairs.
What about Ambridge? Ambridge in the second district?
It's not Jewel.
No.
But it's a pavilion.
That if Brunswick can't be brought
Yeah,
on.
France.
So our first order of business is the jewel parks, and then of course, eventually, we will go throughout the city addressing the other parks and park pavilions that needs our attention as well.
Any other colleagues? Councilwoman Ivy?
Yes. Hello, how are you? You mentioned that Public Works will do the bid out, and that, it will be at the next park board meeting?
At our Public Works, so we are requesting to go on the City of Gary Public Works agenda.
And what's the date of that meeting? That was the price of my question.
I will share that with you shortly.
Okay. Also, I did not know about the pavilion rental for Hudson Campbell. Can you maybe email me those details? I need to share with any constituents.
Yes, and,
Okay. Yeah, I didn't.
okay, yes,
thank
so
you.
we have Biddy Basketball that comes and rent Hudson Campbell Lower Gym. We also have the dance studio where we have different dance classes. We also have Woodlands Development Center for Children. And what they have done this summer is rented the dance studio out, and they're practicing for the Lion King play. So we also have a learning lab at Hudson Campbell where we have taken 2 of the lower racquetball rooms, turned those rooms into educational sites, and we have children who are coming there daily, and we're doing learning activities as well as fun, they call it fun hour, where they go over to the gym and they play tennis or basketball on their break. The children are also fed breakfast and a light lunch.
But Hudson and Campbell would not be considered as how we listed here, rehearsal dinners, luncheons, birthday parties, or funeral repasts. That's not an option at Hudson Campbell. Yes.
So children have their birthday parties at Hudson Campbell, and they play basketball and tennis. And we have a boardroom, and outside of the boardroom is where the families have set up birthday parties.
Thank you.
Any other colleagues? Ms. Fitzgerald, and this might be more appropriate for Mr. Suggs, my deepest concern is with the bid and the procurement method. Usually when you do a design bid for projects, there's some design first, and going straight to bid for construction, I think, was the mistake that we made the first time with the ARPA funds, that we had construction management but no project management. And so I guess if I had to ask a question, it would be who prepared the design documents? Is that something that we could even see?
So, yes, it is something that we can see. The bid that we are going to reintroduce, or the park board authorized, was the bid that they had released last fall of 2024. And through the transition of time period, it was just too long of a time period between the bids that they submitted at the end of last year, and here we are and going into July. So we wanted to ask those bidders to resubmit.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to send out a public bid. That's the reason why I'm here.
But they're submitting based on what? Like what specifications? Who drafted the plans, the design?
The scope of work you're saying.
How do you even get to a scope of work without first any design?
This was what was requested initially through the design that the previous park manager, the project manager, had implemented.
I think that's a critical missing piece.
Okay.
I would strongly suggest consulting with a landscape architect.
Yeah. The bid that we're talking about is strictly the resurfacing of the basketball and tennis courts at each of those parks.
Even with the resurfacing of the basketball and tennis courts, if you don't design them to the right pitch based on the elevation, the topography of the park, they just become ponds for stormwater. So even those types of things, I know they seem menial, I know they seem easy, but even things in terms of as far as resurfacing, those things have to be designed. I know at least with one of the basketball courts, I think at Howe Park, it could have qualified as a stormwater project because of, if we design it properly, then it could help with remediation of stormwater. But all those things have to be designed. We can't just pave it and forget it. Because again, what happens is the water starts ponding in the wrong place because of the topography of many of our parks, and they become ponds.
Yeah, certainly in regards to Howell Park, that is what the pavement that will be done in Howell Park will be parking lot pavement. The county council had agreed, county councilman had agreed to donate the basketball area of Howell Park.
I would also maybe rethink basketball courts. I was just in Mishawaka today, and one of the things that the park superintendent there said that when they repurpose their courts from basketball to pickleball, the responses from police or the police calls went down. A lot of the other activity that they had been finding around there, someone had been shot. I remember I could almost tell you what drugs were being sold at what parks based on what our maintenance guys had to pick up, and a lot of that was around basketball courts. I'm not sure what study went into. I know Howell Park at one time had a plan, but I think there should be some consideration to the types of recreation that we're having at each park in each neighborhood, and how they can support the goals for our city.
I certainly wholeheartedly agree that we should try to plan our parks. One of the things that the administration is doing, because of some of the unfortunate issues that we've had over the last couple of years, getting the implementation of the jewel parks, is that the ARPA dollars basically have to be spent this year. And we would wanted to leverage that opportunity to get something done productive in those parks.
Any way we can spend the ARPA dollars on a plan, on design, on a plan.
Could suggest, I was encouraged by a number of the council members.
Because, I'm sorry, Miss Ivy has.
I'm sorry.
No, it is not toward you.
I thought you were asking me a question. You said anyway.
Oh yeah, I did. I started a question, but then.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Robert. Go ahead.
No, I think the administration was trying to fulfill the wish of a number of the council leaders that they wanted something done in their individual jewel parks.
We want the right things done, though. I think we've been trying to get
more lighting over at Roosevelt, so if we could take those ARPA dollars and complete the lighting, that would be wonderful.
I know
They're
that.
playing basketball already over there, so.
I know that the city engineer is definitely planning the renewed lighting at Roosevelt Park. But I can certainly carry to the administration that you would prefer to look at a plan.
A couple of things. We would love to see the bid packages. I hope I know they're planning on going out tomorrow, but.
And the Little League field at Roosevelt, there's a few things that could be refurbished or redone over there to bring them up. Yeah, because my understanding is I don't think they're playing too much over there because of some of the issues that they were having, so that money could be spent over there.
I know specifically with the baseball fields, they just went out and did it, but it wasn't specific to Little League baseball in terms of the material that they used in the infield. So kids that young can't play on, there's a specific type of infield that material you have to use in your infield for Little Leaguers to play on. It's regulated by our ASTM standards. So that's what I mean about, making sure that you have a professional who's familiar with all of these designs,
You
these
use
design
the term-
specifications.
I'm sorry, you use the term ASTM, I'm not familiar.
Yeah, the ASTM standards. They're federal laws that govern material and that you use in parks. So, for instance, playground equipment. According to our probably more original ASTM standards, can't have lead in the paint, right? As an example, I know the tables that were built at Roosevelt, the minute I looked at them, I'm like, but this wood is not
It wasn't set up for, it
No,
was
the-
the right wood
for
that
a table. It was decking material. It was wood that is only approved to be used for decks and railings. But if it's a table that the public is going to be using, if it's above a certain height, then there has to be other wood that is treated a different type of way, right? That's not treated with the same levels of chemicals that you would use decking material. All of those things are guided by ASTM, our ASTM standards, and they change from year to year.
Understand.
Thank you, and thank you for listening.
No, I like the input, the feedback
Feedback is your friend. I learned that from you.
is good. Any other suggestions?
Well, Mr. Tubbs, I'll be seeing you July 9th, our community meeting in reference to this Jewel Parks Bronzeway. And I hope we can have some type of hope for our citizens in the 2nd District. They're very eager to get that community center open. And for whatever reason, we're not getting that done right now. And I'm getting a lot of flack from the citizens. They want it open.
Yeah, I would certainly love to sit and talk with you in regards to specifically, so the expectations will be met, as opposed to not being sure of what those look like.
Thank you, Mr. Suggs.
Thank you.
Miss Fitzgerald Williams, lifeguard chairs at Marquette.
One more thing, and I failed to, sorry, but I wanted to congratulate Dolly. We have had a couple really success stories at the beach. We had a couple, one missing child, one child apparently drowning, and her lifeguard team were very successful in rescuing the child and bringing the child back. Ms. Fitzgerald went to the hospital and saw the child and the family. Just you don't hear about those stories, but it was just a really good story, and I was very proud of the actions that she took to take care of our constituents in that manner. So I wanted to make sure you all were aware of that.
Thank you. And a really good segue into lifeguard chairs.
Yes, so our parks team has worked on those chairs. We just have one more chair to reconstruct.
Are they out on the beach? I haven't been able to take a look.
Yes, they are. Yes.
And then the safety station.
Oh, we only have 3 more safety stations to install on the beach, and we're just waiting on the boat ramp to open so they can install those as well on the Lake Street side. But the entire beach has the safety stations in place.
Thank you.
And just for the Roosevelt Park picnic tables, I did not pay that contractor for those tables. Just going out, inspecting them myself. along with the administration. We did not pay for those tables because they were not completed to code. So the contractor was upset, but we'll remove those because we don't want anyone to hurt themselves.
Well, I
And-
saw people sitting on them the other day at the Juneteenth celebration, so I guess they came in handy.
Exactly, but yeah, those will be removed.
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman Ivy?
I would just like to ask, with the air show coming, sooner, a weekend sooner in August, will there be any landscaping at the beach that sand, comes onto the sidewalk area where it's been beautified at the beach? But will there be any landscaping, or are there any landscaping plans in order for, Marquette right now or in the near future?
So we do have a landscaper on site at Marquette, and they're handling the beach area as well as the sand, the grass, and sidewalks as well, yes.
My last question. The area where the pool used to be in Roseville, are we gonna complete that, or is it completed, or?
Yes, as spoken, the desire is to first submit the council a site plan, and then the contractor can follow that site plan throughout the construction process. So that's our number one goal, is to submit a site plan and then utilize that site plan with whatever contractor is hired on to complete the parks.
Any additional summer programming or anything else you'd like to share about summer operations?
Yes, so we have our age-friendly bingo every first Friday of the month at Roosevelt Park Pavilion. Our next bingo will be July the 3rd, which is the Thursday because of the holiday falls on that Friday. We also have our 4th of July parade, and that would fall on July 3rd as well. And we also have our summer lab. I just want to reiterate, it's a learning lab for the children, and it's free. So any parents that's interested in your child attending a safe place for the summer months, I just ask that you give us a call at Hudson Campbell at 219-886-7009. And we can give you further information on our summer lab, as well as the parks team is working on an outdoor skating rink for the youth this summer. We're looking at the baseball stadium to host the skating rink where we can have concession for the kids and so on. So those dates will be shared as well. We are also hosting our Food Truck Friday in our downtown area, and we will be hosting the first one on this Friday. We have Redevelopment that hosts one of their events on Fridays as well in our downtown corridor. So the administration is trying to utilize our downtown corridor more this year and get our residents to come to a safe place and enjoy our city.
Councilwoman Barnes Caldwell?
Could you give me some more information about the parade?
Yes, we do have, yeah. So we have our applications online on gary.gov, and then also you can pick up an application at our front desk at City Hall. And I could share that with you later, sorry.
One thing just came to mind, Youth Services Bureau. When you mentioned children in the summer, do we have our summer lunch program?
So we're not hosting the summer lunch program, but in lieu of, that's where we come in with the summer lab for the kids.
Do they get lunch there?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
They receive breakfast as well as lunch.
Where are other places in the city kids can get breakfast and lunch?
So I know we have New Hope Church on 23rd in Rhode Island. We also are working with the Urban League, and our city website has a listing of all of those programs, but I will share that with the council.
And then the Youth Services Bureau,
So-
are they active?
No, not at this time.
Thank you. Any other colleagues?
Wind down.
Yes, so Wind Down Wednesday, backed by popular demand. We will be hosting 6 Wind Down Wednesdays this year. And our first one is July the 2nd and July 16th, August 3rd, and August 19th. And we'll have a live band as well as DJ, and then we'll have food trucks, as well as our chef at Marquette will be hosting food as well as the bar.
If there are any other questions, comments, concerns from colleagues, thank you so much, Mr. Suggs. Thank you, Ms. Fitzgerald, for joining us. Parks, Recreation, and Culture. Ms. Fitzgerald Williams, sorry about that. Parks, Recreation, and Culture Committee is adjourned.